Good morning, fellow option traders. Welcome to the Daily Scan for Friday, May 29th, 2015. All right, on the announcement front, jobless claims yesterday came in a tad higher for, I think, the second week in a row now, but just a tad higher. And a petroleum status report, as expected, inventories continue to come down after the excesses of the last, first part of this year and the end of last year anyway. Big one for today, though, is GDP, and I am not reading anything about it out there. Not in Yahoo Finance, not in Market Watch. Pretty much nobody's talking about it. And maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe they don't want to talk about it. That's even scarier. Chicago PMI and consumer sentiment also on tap for today. All right, across the ponds, Asia, mixed to flat, actually pretty flat and overall, and Europe is bearish across the board, and in some cases pretty strongly bearish. Now, dollar-euro parity is back on the table. Remember when I mentioned that the euro is again getting close to that 1-for-1 with the dollar. And we can see that if we go over here and take a look at the U.S. Looks like as though we may open up a tad on the negative side today as well. Gold is creeping up 90 cents overnight, which is pretty good for gold, actually. At least it makes me kind of happy. Doesn't take much to make me happy, though. Oil's at 58.42, up a little bit overnight. Dollar's at 98.97. And the euro dollar is at 109, so actually kind of the reverse of what that article was that I mentioned. Parity would be if the euro was at $1. Dollar for euro. Euro for dollar. Dollar for dollar. Something like that. Anyway, the account. We're doing okay. SPX, I did condorize yesterday. We'll take a look at that. But everything else is doing just fine. This is the insurance policy, which I have in these two accounts. And everybody's doing pretty good here. Can't hardly really complain. I'm not going to. I'm thinking of getting out of RUT. Since it's, I get a little nervous about RUT. So we'll take a look at the charts though and see how things are going. Let's go immediately over to the big chart. Here we have SPX. This is where I condorized it exactly at the same level as the previous one. The previous one I made the line fatter so we could tell the difference between them, and that matches up with this on the put side. And then we condorized this one on the call side yesterday. And we're still hanging in there with this bull put down here. Now let's see how the velocity line lines up here. If we were to slap it up there. Okay, so in the event that we get some movement like this, we're still not out of the park yet. I don't think we would get that kind of movement to the upside at this time. And of course, our lines of compression here, our wedge, are holding so far. That's what I ultimately hope holds. That, the market keeps drifting upward and gets tighter and tighter, and then we get some sort of event that causes it to break one way or the other. I think I'm losing my voice this morning. That's horrible. It feels so good too. I don't understand that part of it. Be that as it may, let's take a look at RUT. And this is the relaxed trading. I'm not losing any sleep. I'm really liking this. Rules are pretty simple. Just, if we're in an uptrend, you go with bull puts, and if we're in a downtrend, you go with bear calls. If it can't decide which way it wants to go, then you condorize. And you do 10 deltas. I don't really do 20 deltas at this time. I'm sticking with the 5-10 iron condor and 10 deltas on bull puts and bear calls. And that has helped me get some good sleep and show some positive numbers over here. From a delta perspective, we have some quite a bit of positive delta on RUT, which is making me a little bit nervous. But you can see for the most part that we're almost neutral here. And that's the way I kind of like it for now, anyway. And in the theta department, in theory, everything remaining the same, we should make $15.72 today. So how many bank savings accounts? Of course, you don't lose money in those usually. At least not yet. That day may come. I've been reading a lot about the next banking crisis. Who's going to fund it? And they say the depositors. So that makes me a little bit nervous. And you might want to do a little bit of research on the FDIC and find out how much reserves they actually have to have compared to the deposits in order to cover them. And you'll read, like I read a while back, that it's like less than 2%. So who do you think is going, if the whole thing crashes? If one bank crashes, not a problem. One small bank, one regional bank, one local bank, but a national bank, or many national banks, or international banks, forget it. There's not enough money. And then the government's going to have to bail us out again, maybe, or the depositors do. They just take 20% of your deposit and say, we're going to make the bank whole. The rules are in place. Beware. All right, let's go with our scan for today. And we can get out a little bit early. First up to bat is Apple. All right, so remember we said this hook here, that this would be might be a good day to get in. Well, never got really confirmation on it. So, and there was a down PPS. Now we have an up PPS, and then we're going to get another down. I don't like it when these happen one day after the other. That's not a good sign, really. Even though it's going up, we might get a down one very easily. So another good reason to stay away from these equities right now. They're just not talking. They are just not talking. All right, so I'm going to take that off of this Amazon thing here. Amazon's still not doing anything. Baidu really not doing anything either. Chipotle, though. Okay, so here, we were talking yesterday about, whoa, man, they're not looking so hot. Well, look what they did yesterday. Against the market, basically, too. Costco, what came about after their earnings? Huge. A long-wicked doji where nobody won. Nobody won on them yesterday, that's for sure. I'll take a quick look at the Dow. Coming back into its wedge, failed to stay out of it. Interesting. I can't really draw any conclusions from that, except that's what it did. Gold still not doing so hot. You might get some movement today. Google still not doing anything either. Look at this. This is a huge wedge here too. Let's see what happens. LinkedIn not doing anything. NDX probably still on the march. Pretty much sticking to his channel very sweetly. If you could get some outside these lines, I'd be a little bit concerned to the upside actually, because it's looking pretty strong. Concerned to the upside meaning if I was to do a bear call, I would be a little afraid of that. Bull put, yeah. Netflix still not really doing anything but drifting in the upward direction. Not a lot of momentum. Priceline not doing anything either. We already looked at the RUT and SPX. We'll just jump right down to Tesla. And right now, lately, the last week or so, Tesla is not doing anything either. So, present for the weekend. Oh, let's take a look. And I don't think I have this version of the spreadsheet up there yet, but I will. I promise. We'll get it up there today. I think it's a couple days old. Here is this line right here. This row is the condorization of this June 4 expiration. Slapped an iron condor on that, and again, that did not affect my buying power at all. So that's where we're at. Okay, that's it for today. Aren't we lucky we get out early? Well, that's an interesting... I don't know what happened here. Something happened. There we go. That's it for today. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much for watching, and happy, relaxed trading.